We like for couples to understand where you are. And we have a little form in our book, assets and liabilities. So write it down. This is what we have. This is what we owe. Now, where are we going? What are our priorities? Because we found that most couples who conflict on money, it's not about they don't have the fact that they may not have enough. They don't agree on the priorities.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So let's just say what's first. So the number one thing in our marriage is paying tithes.
Tithes, yes.
Darnell's adamant about that.
Gotta always honor God. My feeling was that you've got to make sure that the doors for God's blessings are always open. So you don't want to do anything. I definitely want to obey God.
Yes.
All the areas. So we're adamant about tithe. We're adamant about giving offerings. We give sacrificially because we feel like we're doing the right thing, and that's what God calls for. And then we give alms. Those are the amounts that we give to the person that's on the street that has a sign.
Yes.
To a family member, someone. We don't take God's tithe and give it to other people. We give it to the storehouse where we get fed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's critical. And we say this by the grace of God. For 36 years, we have never not paid our tithes.
Wow.
We know that that's God.
Yes.
And for 36 years, we've never lost anything. We've never lost a car or never been able to pay a bill. We say that's because of that.
Yes.
We have insured ourselves against lack.
Yes.
But then also we have listed, we go through our bills, our finances. What are our priorities? We need an emergency fund. So we're not going to go out and buy a car that we can't afford. We're going to live beneath our means. But first of all, we're going to need an emergency fund. Now, it's different for every couple. But for us, we like several months living expenses in the bank. But as a minimum, I tell every couple, you got to at least be able to put your hands on $1,000. Now, that's not going to make or break you, but it shows God that you're a good steward of your money.
That's right, and that's our top priority. It's shocking the number of people we come across where they can't put their hands on $500.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And we have people come to us, and we try to help a lot of people. We really do. But sometimes we sit back and say, are we enabling? And that's one of our things. We don't want to enable people. Maybe the best thing we can do is sit them down, let them look at a budget. And we've done this for a few couples. Let's go through your budget, see where you are, see where you have the excess spending. And sometimes
do you think some people don't notice where they're having excess spending?
No, they don't notice. They're just spending money.
No.
That's a discipline that a lot of people just don't have. And that's why this subject is critical for us, because it's going to determine the quality of your life and your marriage. It really will.
I noticed it was the first one we wanted to talk about when it came to commandments, because it really does affect marriages.
No, it does. It does.
And I think part of writing things down, getting it on paper, whether you physically write it down or use a computer technology to do it, is you're amazed when you see where you're spending money. A lot of times people spend money on things like food, coffee, Starbucks. It's amazing how that adds up.
All right. You mentioned priorities.
Yes.
I know that some couples can have differences in priorities. This is a priority for her, and this is a priority for me.
Yes.
Okay, which then becomes a point of conflict or contention.
Right.
Okay, so and what we're talking about here, I know that when you start talking about money, either people are like, because they're already involved.
They're already making some intention.
They're already intentional about it. And the people that are not, it's almost as though they
tune us out.
Tune right out. Yeah. And they're like, let's get on to the next point.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's really, how important is this, really?
How important is it to please God? If you acknowledge Him in all your ways, He will direct your path. So we may have, listen, we even now, and we're just now coming together as a couple on retirement. We're at that age we can retire. He wanted to move far out, and I want to stay in the city. I like where we live in the city. Well, we said, but our rule is we don't do anything until we can come into agreement. We've been making this decision for 7 years.
Especially major.
No, major. Anything major. We got to make sure we're in agreement. We're not going to go forward. Now, we know we have a plan. He has a plan.
Well, the lucky thing is that it's in your favor at the moment.
Because we're in the house. Now, Audrey, I'm not stupid. I think you know what? We come to God with a nevertheless attitude.
It's working out pretty well for you.
Sorry, Darnell, we can't do it your way because we're not in agreement. We're going to do it my way.
No, he likes the house now.
Okay.
Well,
so recently, I agreed recently that we'll look far out. We looked at houses, way outside the city, and he was the one who decided, no, we shouldn't do this.
No, it was too far. Okay. That's true. And so, as you're coming to this point, that's okay. As you're coming to this point, you set your druthers on the table, pretty much, and that's part of the communication part too, where you're not hostile, you're not adamant about having your way, but you're understanding that, listen, agreement is where God, He puts His blessing on agreement.
True.
When there's dissension, imagine,
true.
you know, if Deborah's unhappy and she gives in and we move out far because I want to do it,
Then she'll be driving like
not
this
gonna,
all the time.
That's
Yes.
right, and I'm not going to be happy ultimately.
No.
And if I give in to her way, then she's not going to be happy because I'm not going to be happy. And
Exactly.
so it's important to come to that agreement.